I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now we have a proclamation for the Girl Scouts, so if the Girl Scouts want to stand up, and I will just read you this proclamation. It's a little long, so bear with me, right? Whereas Thursday, March 12, 2015, marks the 103rd anniversary of Girl Scouts of the USA, founded by Juliette Gordon Low in 1912 in Savannah, Georgia. And whereas through Girl Scouting, girls grow in courage, confidence, and character, and learn to make the world a better place. And whereas throughout its long and distinguished history, Girl Scouts, the preeminent organization for girls, has inspired millions of girls and women with the highest ideals of character, conduct, and patriotism. And whereas Girl Scouting takes an active role in increasing the interest and skill levels of today's youth in math, science, and technology careers, and to fulfill our country's economic needs. And whereas, through participation in Project Undercover, a council-wide community service project, every girl will learn that she can make a change for the better in her community. And whereas, the Girl Scout cookie sale is the world's largest girl-led business, teaching financial literacy to girls of all ages. Whereas, the Girl Scouts of Southeastern New England, which serves 12,000 girls in the Rhode Island area, will be celebrating 103 years of an American tradition with more than 3.4 million current Girl Scout members nationwide. Now, therefore, we, the Town Council of the Town of Narragansett, do hereby proclaim the week of March 8th through 14th, 2015, as Girl Scout Week in the Town of Narragansett, and urge our citizens to support the Girl Scouts in their endeavors. Witness my hand and official seal of the Town of Narragansett, County of Washington, State of Rhode Island, this second day of March 2015. Congratulations.
I think they want to deliver a bag of cookies to you.
Oh, well, come right up. Come on right up. Thank you so much. All right, our first item of business, we have the February 22nd, 2015 work session meeting approval of minutes.
I'll move that motion.
Discussion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved 5-0. A couple things I just wanted to mention briefly. The Taste of the Towers event was last Thursday with the Chamber of Commerce. I was able to attend. A very good event put together by the Chamber, and they reconfigured kind of the way they were serving the food, which I thought improved the flow of the event. So congratulations to them on another great event and great attendance, I think around 200 people. Next on our agenda, we have updates for the state projects we have in Narragansett, which Pam will take for us.
The only information I have to share with you tonight, Jeff, I don't know if you had any information from the state. No. What we've been doing with the state the last 2 weeks, I've been doing with the state, is we've run out of salt. 3 times, 4 times, Mike? 3, 4, I mean, we're out of salt all the time, and the state has a full salt barn sitting up there on the Rotary. So I've been on the phone. I've been talking to I've been talking to the governor's office, I've been talking to the state DOT, I've been talking to Morton Salt in Chicago, and it took getting tough with them, really tough with them, and that's my only comment this week, is that it's not just us, it's every town in the state. It's every town in New England having a hard time getting salt. I think, Mike, did we get salt today? One load today. They promised me a load every single day by the time we got done, but let me tell you, it was a lot of work, and we'll be looking, I know that this is a very difficult, brutal winter, and this isn't a usual winter for a coastal community. But even Morton Salt in Chicago is saying, we have never seen anything like this in New England. So just so everybody knows, the fact is we've really had to go to ground and scratch and dig and claw to get our salt so that the roads can stay safe. So we are doing that. We are now getting a load every day. I don't know when this will start up again. Hopefully not. Hopefully spring is right around the corner. We're into March, and maybe it's only a couple weeks. So just that's all I have to report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Ann, do you have a second agenda for me? I seem to misplace mine. All right, presentation on cameras on Route 108 Point Judith Road. Is that you and Dean?
Yes. This came about because we have a certain parent. I don't know if Mr. Boodle is here tonight. There he is. We'll get to you in a minute, but we had a parent who was sending me and the chief many videos of cars passing buses on Route 108. And it's shocking. It's alarming. And talking to the chief, this has been a problem for many years. We've put the message boards, the police message boards up. It works for a little while. We've had cruisers follow the buses. That works for a little while, but that's not possible every single day. So if you will allow, I will allow Mike DeLuca has graciously, again, said that he would show the videos that Mr. Boodle has sent to me. And we'll just show you a little piece of what we've been getting from him so that you have an idea. We did some research, and we found a company willing to come in and help us with this, and I'll turn it over to Chief Hoxie in a minute. Dean, is it all right with you? Are you ready to show these? All right, we'll show these. Now, this is Point Judith Road, Route 108. And Dean, do you want to explain, want to come up? That's a stopped bus. That's a stopped bus.
Kids. You're the kids.
This is the bus stop by Mariner Square, and it's very commonplace on Point Judith Road because of the makeup of the road. It's four ways, non-divided. The assumption is that a lot of people feel because it is a four-lane roadway, they don't have to stop on the other side, which is incorrect. As the manager had stated, we've had unmarked cars. We've had marked cars, and then this is still one after another. Lights are flashing, stop arms out.
Yeah. No, keep them going. Keep them going, please. There's one where they shows cars passing on both sides of the road.
That was the first one I saw that.
With the American flags. Oh, look at that, look at that.
It's like they don't know this. I know both ways. It's like they don't know this stuff.
Is that enough?
Yeah, I got the
That's enough,
message.
I think, Mike.
And those are different dates or one date, same
No,
date?
these are all different dates
Yeah.
that,
And it's only a small portion of what Mr. Boodle sent us.
I had 5 more, and I think there's another 10 or so that I didn't load in.
Yeah, there's a whole, it's constant.
as we talked about at that meeting, the past meeting where I explained that this company made a presentation at the Rhode Island Chiefs Association Tech Expo. He is here. He's willing to do a quick 15-minute presentation. He'll show you the product, what it does for traffic lights and for stop bars on the school buses. Rick?
You got to come up to the podium, sir, so you can be heard. You have to be heard.
You're cooking. Cookies, yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for allowing me here to explain how our solution works. What I'm about to show you is red light photo enforced solution and also a school bus stop arm solution. My company is Census America. We're world-renowned. We have programs throughout the world. The closest program to you here in Narragansett is in Charleston. I happen to live in Warwick. We have a program manager who would manage the program, who also manages Charleston and some other programs that's coming live here in Rhode Island. He lives in Cranston. So it's a real unique situation for Narragansett and a lot of communities in Rhode Island because we're based here, the crux of the people who deliver the service. So with that said, if you don't mind, today's presentation, we'll talk a little bit about who we are today. We'll talk about the technology because that's really what you want to see. I'll show you some of the images that we capture and talk about the back office software. Census today. Well, our mission here, our mission here is to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens, the children, in Narragansett. And we want 0 traffic fatalities, both in red light and in school bus stop arm enforcement. Who is Census? Well, we're in more than 20 countries, as I said earlier. We're North American-based systems are in D.C. We're in the nation's capital. We're providing all the solutions in Washington, D.C., which encompass the 2 I talked about and many more. Maryland, Tennessee, Rhode Island, and Florida, and we're highly adaptable. Okay, next slide, please. How can we help? Click it, please. Well, I was going to show you some red light runs, but how can we help? We're going to reduce fatalities. We're going to reduce accidents, crime, discrimination. Cameras don't know who's driving. We're going to capture every single violation, whether it's red light or whether it's school bus stop arm. It's going to improve traffic flow, police work efficiency, helps governments to fund safety because part of it, obviously, is not only is it a safety feature, but it'll also generate some revenue. But it's truly about safety, and you'll see that as I move forward. And of course, it'll improve officer safety. I was told I have 15 minutes, so I'm going to kind of go fast. If I'm going too fast, please stop me. And if you want me to speed up, please give me a little kick in the backside. As I talked about earlier, Washington, D.C. is one of our proudest programs. Everybody knows that's the capital of the great United States. We deliver up to 450 systems, and it's currently operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And to the right there, you'll see all the systems that we're delivering to Washington, D.C. Click. Brooksville, Florida, we're delivering red light enforcement. Chattanooga, Tennessee, red light, mobile speed, and fixed speed. Sweden, why do I bring up Sweden? Well, they're the safest country in the world, and they only use our product. They have over 1,100 of our systems currently deployed for traffic safety. And because, part of the reason why they're the safest country in the world is because they're utilizing our solution. Click. Dubai, why do I talk about Dubai? That's millions of miles away from us. They can buy anything they want. They buy our solution. Again, why am I telling you that? It's the best solution on the market. We've never had a case thrown out because of the technology, period. Next. Charleston, talked about that. We have 2 approaches. Most of you from around here drive out on Route 1. You're going to see those cameras at the roadside. We have 4 approaches currently in Charleston, Rhode Island, and right now we're issuing warning tickets and not regular violation tickets. Talk a little bit about the technology real quick. Click. That's okay. Why Census? Well, we deliver, I think, the most robust package of automated enforcement solutions. You'll see stop sign enforcement in the top right, a portable system just below that. Crosswalk enforcement, we can actually enforce crosswalks You may want to look at that in Narragansett this summer. Don't know if you want to or not, but we certainly can provide that solution. Block the box with a light screen in the adjacent approach, and you can't go through because traffic won't allow. We can enforce that, and of course, we're here to talk tonight also about school bus stop arm. Some pictures of our technology, multiple ways it can be delivered, either portable, in the ground with poles, similar to what you'll see down in Charleston. The yellow cameras up top, that's the school bus stop arm enforcement camera. I'll explain a little bit more in detail as we move along how that works. Okay? Again, unmatched simplicity. It's a single self-contained non-intrusive unit for red light enforcement. It can be wired or wireless, an electric connection or battery operated. It's bullet resistant. People laugh when we say that, but believe it or not, we'd have some of the cameras shot at. Operates in all weather conditions. Again, 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Doesn't take vacation, doesn't need benefits. It just works. It enforces your approaches. And effortless relocation. Okay? A comparison between us and our competitors. You see the competitor on the left, they have the pole, and they have a bunch of stuff on that pole. Aesthetically, it's not very pleasing to the eye. Beautiful community like here in Narragansett, you want something that's going to be aesthetically pleasing. Certainly, if you look to the right, we have a single, self-contained, one-pole unit. Everything is housed in that one unit. Next. Our latest technology. Well, we say the future is here. We provide all of the traditional fixed speed, mobile speed, and red light, but then we have the edge. We also provide native speed for red light enforcement, school bus stop arm, again, we're going to talk about, and I won't waste your time or bore you with the rest, but we have a good array of automated enforcement solutions. Show you some of the samples in picture video. Here's a sample of a picture of the car before the stop bar. You'll see up top, if I had my mouse I could show you, but the car's wheels are before the stop bar, the light's red. Pretty hard to see, but you can see the signal. And so what we do is we take a picture of the vehicle before the stop bar when the light's red, and a picture of the vehicle as it proceeds through with the light continuing to be red. Okay, click. Then we can zoom in on the back of the vehicle to get plate image, which is the registered owner image. Now this works the same for school bus, where we zoom in on the back of the vehicle to get registered owner. And the legislation currently, as it's written in Rhode Island for red light and for school bus, is registered owner. It's a civil penalty, not a criminal penalty. You'll see the data bar up top, which tells you the date, the time, where it was captured, the speed of the vehicle, how long the red was. You can show how long the red was or how long the yellow was. I recommend you show how long the yellow was, because if it's supposed to be at 4 seconds and it was at 4 seconds, and the tires were before the stop bar when the light turned red, we would send that for law enforcement here to either get approved or not approved as a violation. Next, please. Some more sample photos. Again, just to show you the clarity of what the video evidence and the photo evidence looks like for law enforcement to make a determination, and also for the violator to make a determination if they ran that light or not. And I'll show you how that works as we move forward. Again, more sample photos. This is a nighttime capture. This is with flash. You can clearly see we've got the vehicle before the stop bar, the vehicle proceeding through, and we got a real clear plate image. Next. This is a video, so before you click the video, you'll notice up top the signal head is yellow. It's in the yellow phase. You'll see the stop bar just before the crosswalk there. Now, if you'll just click it, sir, you'll see, nope, just put the mouse, can you go back one? Yeah. Put the mouse in the picture and click. Oh, great, sorry. Yep, that's okay. Just put it right in the middle of the picture and click. There you go. And what you do, well, it's supposed to play. It's not going to play. I use an Apple. This is a PC. Sorry. Okay. If anybody's interested, I'll show you, if you want me to, I'll show you on my PC later. You'll actually see the light go from amber to red and the vehicle proceed on through. You can play it 100 times. You can play it 1,000 times. You can play it frame by frame. So you can actually tell where the tires are in relation to the stop bar as the light goes from amber to red. I assure you the video works. I can show you on I have my Apple with me, my Mac. Okay. Full motion video. So what happened was this white truck went through that light. It was clearly a violation. So we zoomed in on the back of the plate and we got the plate image. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the evidence, the video and the still photos, and send them to law enforcement here to either approve or reject the ticket, the violation. Okay, sir. Another flashless. This is a daytime picture, flashless day. We also have flashless night. Click again, sir. This is a flashless night. We don't even need to use flash. If there's enough ambient light around your approaches, we can actually capture the image in the plate without using any flash, any extra lighting. We just use the ambient light around the approach. Okay, sir? Again, more images just to kind of show you with the data bars up top. We can configure the data bars to pretty much whatever data you need to have up top. And we work with you to tell you what works and what doesn't work. Again, just another image. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the software. Click it again, and then click it again. I'm running short on time. And click it again. That's just another image. Now I want to talk about school bus safe. All right, this is the stop arm enforcement solution. And really, it shouldn't have to be this dangerous for students getting on and off the bus. Click it again, sir. In 2014, there was a study that was done, and it found in 29 states nearly 76,000 vehicles illegally passed. I think you had a bunch of them here in Narragansett recently, part of that 76,000. They passed 97,000 school buses. That's in one day. So it's not only a problem here in Narragansett, it's a problem all over the place. And we feel that our solution will positively change driver behavior. Because once word gets out that Narragansett is doing something like this, people are going to stop paying attention. When that stop arm goes out and the lights start to flash, people will stop. That's what we're trying to do, change driver behavior, retrain the driver. The same thing with the automated red light solution. We're trying to make them remember, like we all learned when we first learned how to drive, when it went yellow, your parents told you to step on the brake because it only goes in one direction after that. It goes red. What do most of us do? Oftentimes, yeah, I know. So did I before I got in the industry. So did I. But you learn, and if you get a ticket, an $85 ticket, and that's what the red light ticket here is, and if it's a school bus ticket, it's a $300 ticket, you're only going to get one of those. And when you're driving in Narragansett after that, you're going to be very wary, and you're going to be driving according to what the letter of the law is. Next slide. The benefits, obviously, it's a deterrent. Get that one ticket, especially for school bus, it's $300. Accountability, it's going to be a full motion video. Where's the evidence? It's going to be a full motion video of your vehicle going by that stop arm with the lights flashing while the stop arm is out. Police force multiplier, well, if we're enforcing school buses and some of the red lights here, law enforcement can focus on some of the other duties that they have within the community. And community awareness. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on, whether it's red light, speed, school bus, we help the community. We come into the community and we provide seminars. We'll go to the schools. We'll talk about why we're doing what we're doing. We provide brochures, pretty much whatever you need us to do in your community to make this program work and make it a positive solution. That's what we're all about. Next. School bus safe, what's the advantages? No upfront costs for red light or for school bus enforcement, 100% violator funded. If you don't run the red light or run by the stop bar, you're not part of the program. So if you're a law-abiding citizen, there's no issue. Turnkey, ready to use, 24/7, customer support, legally defensible in Rhode Island legislation. I was just at the Rhode Island Traffic Tribunal. Chief Justice loves it. 100% compliant with all local, state, county, and federal laws. Dynamic back office, and we'll get to that real quick. If I'm running long, let me know if you need to push me. Stop arm, the arm goes out, starts the video record. So all the driver has to do is put the stop arm out. If it detects a violator is going too fast to be unable to stop, it'll start the video record. Captures both directions. $300 ticket, as I said earlier, it's a strong corrective reminder. How it works is, again, stop arm goes out, starts to, what it has in there is radar. What it does is it actually tells in both directions if a vehicle is going too fast to be unable to stop. If it detects that, it starts the video record. Once it passes the confirmation line, which is the stop arm, it saves the video in the still images, and it sends it directly to us for processing. We process it. If it's a violation or what we think is a violation, it goes to another queue. Law enforcement here logs on, secure username and password from any computer in the world because it's web-enabled, and we'll be able to view the event. Is that a ticketable event or not? It's not my call. It's the chief's call in law enforcement here in Narragansett. If it is a violation, he hits accept, and I'll show you that in a couple more slides down, and the ticket goes out. And here's what the video, if you can play this video, it would be cool, but I don't know if you'll be able to. All right. All right. It is a video, and again, I'll show you, but you can see how clear the images are. There is no mistaking. When you have somebody go by the stop arm, you can zoom in on the back of the plate and get the image. Next image, please. That was the truck that was going through, and we clearly can get the plate image. And why is there a green block on it? Because this is a real violation. It's a real registered owner, so we're protecting their identity. Next. The back office, real quick. As I said, an officer has a secure username and password, logs on from any computer-enabled internet anywhere in the world. Can be on vacation. If the chief wants them to log on and approve violations, could be anywhere in the world. Puts in his username, puts in his password, click, hits login, takes him to this image, and what happens is these are events that pop up. They're still digital images, vehicle before the stop-off, vehicle through with the light red, and then at the very bottom you can see play the video. So the officer have the opportunity to play that video that you didn't see, but you would have saw if I had my Mac working. And then to the left there is the registered owner information. So what this is this is all the evidence that was captured at the roadside, and the officer has that at their disposal to view. If they determine that that event is a violation, they hit approve, which is the green button, and if they think that it was not a violation because the plate's not clear or they just don't feel comfortable with it, next slide please, they have a rejection code. They can reject any event that was sent to them that they feel is not a violation, for whatever reason they want. We can have a violation code in their officer discretion, and they reject it. Just like they have the decision whether to ticket somebody here for personal service or not. Exactly the same thing, only this is done with camera technology. Journal of evidence. Chief Justice loves this. What is that? Anybody that touches this event, from when it's captured at the roadside and it's sent to a processor, to the officer approving, all the way through the chain that the evidence package goes through, it's denotated who touched it. Rock solid, bulletproof. Bulletproof. Can't be tampered with. We know everybody that's touched the evidence package, all the way down to the officer that issued the ticket. Next. The Rhode Island ticket looks something like this. You have the three images. There is a website there that you can go and you can click on and you can view your own violation. You know that video that didn't play that I keep telling you I really have? And if you want to see it, they can watch that video. They can say, you know what, I wasn't even in Narragansett. They go there and they put in their plate number and they put in a PIN number, and every ticket has a unique PIN number. And what will happen is they'll have the ability to view that video evidence as many times as they want. Like Monday Night Football. Was this toe in? Was the toe out? Was it a touchdown? Just like that. And if you click the next slide. So if you go to that website, and here's what you see. Okay, click again, sir. And it says, it's really difficult to see, but you hit view and pay your violation. And what will happen is Narragansett will come up. Click again. The violator puts in the license plate number and their personal code. And what can happen is that they can view that video evidence I talked about. And if they feel like, wow, they got me, with the evidence that's here, I really cannot beat this ticket, they can hit pay, and they can pay right there. And we can link that, obviously, so that it goes into an account here for Narragansett. Number of different ways they can pay. They can pay online. They can come here, like they're paying their parking tickets. I assume they pay their parking tickets at Town Hall. They can do that. We have a 24/7, 365-day-a-year line that's bilingual. You can mail payments. Okay, next one. I know I'm going long. Reports, we can run a multitude of different reports. Here's something we did for Bristol, Rhode Island. They have some interest, and they're kind of moving forward here with us. So what I did was we brought cameras out, and we put them at their approaches that they thought they had problems with, and we ran a report. We did a study, a 24-hour study, and we found that, indeed, they did have some problematic approaches, and we're moving forward, providing them with automated red light enforcement. Reports, we can run any report you want. Court hearings, payments, the payments that were mailed, the payments that were paid at Town Hall. You can click these. Schedule a hearing. We can actually do the schedule the hearings for you. Rhode Island Traffic Tribunal. If anybody wants to have their tickets heard, and it's going to be through the Rhode Island Traffic Tribunal, we can directly set them up and set a hearing up. So this is 100% turnkey. The only involvement here by Narragansett would be for officer approval. Everything else is 100% turnkey, and it's violator funded. Okay, click. Right off our time. Again, reports. Again, I just want to reiterate, we can run just about any report you want. We can teach you how to run the reports, or we can run the reports for you and deliver them to you on a predetermined schedule. If you wanted them every Friday, or you know what I mean. Saves lives. 84% are down 84% in T-bones, and 90% of drivers who get a ticket in the state of New Jersey don't get a second using automated enforcement. So it does change driver behavior. And that's pretty much it. It was pretty quick, and I'm not used to having somebody click for me here. Usually I'm the master of the thing there. But I'm open for any questions you may have. I've been doing this for 10 years, so.
Thank you. Is there any question from the council? I have feedback. Can you? All right. Thanks.
Can you explain how it's paid for?
Yes. What Narragansett would do is it would enter into a contract with my company, and it's, as I said, violator funded. So what we do is we would do, for red lights, we would do studies. We would come up with the numbers that would come up at a particular approach. We take those numbers and we knock them down by about 60%, because we know we can positively affect violators by about 60% at the approaches. And then we come up with, in the state of Rhode Island, you cannot do ticket share. So we come up with a monthly fee. And we'll say the monthly fee is, say, $3,000. And so, you know, obviously it's a contract. We have to agree to negotiate to a point. But say it's $3,000. And the revenue that's generated at that particular approach only gets generated at a rate of $2,800 one given month, the month of January, because it's slow down here in Narragansett. We would just expect to get the $2,800 and forgive the balance. There will be many, many months where you will exceed that, and you know, specifically I think in the summer months, we would be looking to get whatever the fixed fee is, and any monies generated by these tools will be Narragansett's to use, and however way, shape, or fashion you want. Now, something interesting, July 1st of this year, there's legislation that was voted on and went into effect last year where you don't have to pay the state of Rhode Island their $35 fee any longer for these tickets. So you get, in effect, to keep the whole ticket. Whereas before, you had to immediately send $35 to the state of Rhode Island.
Okay, the road in question is a state road. The state doesn't want a piece of that action?
No.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah. We all do, but no, they don't. Effective July 1st.
They're coming after the mooring fees. It's just a matter of time before they,
Well,
you know.
they did have the $35 and they gave it up.
right.
That's how much DOT believes in this. These are state-owned roads, and DOT is 1,000% behind this. We deploy in Charleston on state roads.
Right.
Not only state roads, but scenic highways, which is even more difficult.
So we have an issue with a bus,
Yes, sir.
okay? Is this available for a bus,
It is available for a bus.
okay? And what's, it's the same deal for a bus?
No,
I don't
it's,
understand.
no. Most companies that would do this for you would want to put it on more than a bus. They probably would want to put it on upwards of 20 buses. We're willing to put it on a bus for the town of Narragansett, if the town of Narragansett has some interest in doing some automated red light enforcement also. So that's.
Okay, so you wouldn't put it on a bus, you put it on a bus and some stoplights.
Correct.
I see. Okay.
I think to Ray's point, what's been presented to us as the issue is the safety of cars passing a bus. And just cutting to the chase, I'm not particularly interested in the red light surveillance camera type of thing. I am interested in perhaps looking at outfitting a bus, possibly two, that goes on that route. But I am looking at the stop bar system, not the red light system, or the crosswalk system, or the stop sign system. That's probably where I'm going on this. Hopefully you'd be interested in maybe doing a pilot program. We did that with a bus at one point a few years ago. I forgot what it was. But it's funny about it. You talk about Point Judith Road.
Dean did. The chief did look at this several years ago. Wasn't the same, they wanted to do all of our buses,
Yeah.
correct?
it's funny, you look at Point Judith Road, and it's a 4-lane highway, plus breakdown lanes, and I never had the occasion to actually be going opposite the school buses. When the school bus is going southbound and I'm going northbound, I never had that situation where they actually stopped and let the students out onto the curb. And I think most people would be surprised that they actually had to stop when they're going northbound 4 lanes away, because the students are so far away and they're exiting the bus and going right onto the curb on the other side of the highway. They would think naturally, there's no way a student would actually cross that 4-lane highway. It's just not going to happen. So I can understand that. I would also want some kind of a public safety program or something just to tell people that they have to stop. Some kind of a public safety awareness campaign, especially on that road. But I'm interested in maybe just the stop bar.
Can I just ask a question? Did you say 20 countries that it was, and what
Yes.
about in the state of Rhode Island? How many communities are using this kind of
Well, there-
camera on the bus just around the state of Rhode Island?
On the bus,
Yeah.
you have Providence, you have Portsmouth, I think you have 2 other ones, I don't know.
So 4?
Yeah,
Would that be
it's
fair to
4.
say, 4
Yeah.
communities in the state? And have they been satisfied with the product?
Oh, very much so, yeah. And you'd be amazed at the numbers that they capture in those programs. And the city of Providence has a program that's been in force, it's not my program, but probably about 5 years, and the numbers that still come across, even though it's been in force for 5 years, a lot of those runs, people aren't paying attention. I don't think it's automatic, I don't think somebody says, well, there's a school bus, stop bomb's out, I'm going to run it. And the same thing I think for red light, unfortunately, sometimes when people run the light, they're not paying attention, the light goes and they go through. So, it's a problem. It's a problem, I think, though, when you get especially with school bus, you get a $300 ticket. I know my eyes will be open for every school bus I see from then on.
So, to Chris's point, can you buy a portion of it? Say you could just do the camera and not the street light? I mean, is there options for that, or when you buy into this, it's got to be the package?
Well, to outfit one bus, there's an awful lot of investment that goes on the backside with the software and whatnot with my company, and it's really not a good business decision for any company to outfit one bus.
Could you explain the warning issue?
Yes.
Charleston has
Yes.
warnings. Can you
Yes.
explain how that works? Obviously, no revenue, so.
Yeah, exactly. Typically what happens when you roll out a new program, it would be our recommendation to do warnings for the first 30 days.
Oh.
And the reason you do warnings is because what you're really trying to demonstrate is it's not about revenue, it's not about gotcha. It really is about trying to change driver behavior, in the community. And frankly, I'm in the business, but frankly, I don't see why communities don't do it even more, because there's no cost. And if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law. And since when is it okay to run a red light? So there's never. So there's no cost. It only captures violators. It doesn't video record if you're not breaking the law. So
you're, because we're talking about the one bus, so you would be interested in having something with one bus, and then, like, how many stop signs, stoplights, if you were to do a pilot? Like, what would the pilot look like? Instead, because this is involved, right, what you presented, so we would want it targeted, but obviously it would be not cost-effective for you to just do one bus. You've expressed that. So what would a pilot look like? Would it be one stop sign nearby and 2 stop signs and the stop lights on 108?
Well,
if you could.
Well, you can't do stop signs in the state of Rhode Island because there's no legislation specifically written for stop signs. But what I would recommend is to do a study, like I did for Bristol, and like I'm going to do for Smithfield, and to work with the police department here, and of course the council, and to move by your direction as to which approaches you think may be problematic. No cost for it. We'd set up some cameras, 24 hours, and we would come back to you with that particular approach, with how many red light runs there were, to see if you have a problem. Maybe some of you think there's no problem with red light runs here, and that may be the case. That very well may be the case. So if we do a study, then I can come back to you with real numbers from your community as to what those approaches are doing.
But if we were to have you do like we said, the to put it at 108 on the bus, and then the stoplights, if we were to skip the study step, I know you said it would be, we wouldn't have to pay for it, but what would be something that you've done elsewhere as a pilot? Like you've said, we can't do one, like would you do 4? I mean,
Yeah, we
like on 108, I mean, I'm just trying to get a feel for, would you say absolutely not, I'm not doing one stoplight, one bus, that's not going to make me any money? Like, I'm trying to get a feel for that.
We did 4 approaches in Charleston, so 4 is pretty much, I think, where, where the cutoff point is. So, and I'm talking approaches, I'm not talking intersections. One intersection could have 4 approaches that are problematic, right? East, west, north, south. I'm not saying that's the case, but it could be one intersection, or it could be multiples. So, what we basically, where we're comfortable is to say 4 approaches. And I said that if we could get the 4 approaches here, that we would be more than glad to put the camera on the school bus, because frankly, it uses the same back office. So once you know how to do school bus and/or red light, you know how to do one or the other, because they operate exactly the same way.
So what are our next steps? Do you want to meet with him, Pam, and come up with a proposal for us? Do you think that makes the most sense?
Well, are you in favor of doing his study? I think that's a decision. Do you want to do the study, or do you want to go directly? Because there's been a lot of comments since we've had the ad hoc committee on the speed. Susan Cicilline-Bonanno has also spoken. You've spoken directly from your council seat about the traffic and the church and the speed with which people go through that light there. Would you want the study? I mean, the URI ad hoc committee is always talking about the speed and the fact that students use it as a racetrack and this and that. I think that there's enough to warrant either way you want to go. You want to do the study, or do you want us to begin negotiating with the company?
What's the council think on that?
I mean,
Thoughts?
I'd be interested.
I have no interest in putting cameras at any intersection in town. No interest at all.
So we got 2 clear points of view there. All right, so then, what about our other wings there, Ray? Any thoughts?
I'm interested in the buses. I see evidence that we have a big
Problems.
problem with the bus, and I'm interested in the buses. I don't have a lot of love for cameras at stoplights, but
Yeah, certainly.
I am interested in taking care of our buses. So
Right.
I don't know, if there were 3 or 4 buses, is that something that you'd be interested in doing, or no?
Yeah.
Not at all?
I'll be honest with you, with the school bus stop on, with the fine being so heavy,
Yep.
and with the job that we would do in PR, you're going to see a marked
It would end.
positive result.
Yeah.
It's not going to end them totally.
I mean, yeah,
I'd love to say that it will, it just doesn't, because again, a lot of times people just aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
But I assure you, after they get their $300 ticket, they'll pay attention next time they're in your community where there's a bus, whether the stop arm is out or not.
Yeah. I have to think about it. I'm not ready to say anything. I
So maybe
certainly
we'll-
would like to.
I mean, it was a
See
presentation
what's going
tonight.
on.
Right.
I mean, Pam, it was a presentation on the agenda, so, I mean, I do think we probably could take a little time, and it doesn't call for a vote or a direction even at this point. It just says presentation. Maybe people can digest it. Maybe I could talk to some of my colleagues up here about the importance of safety
Well,
in the
you
buses in the
know,
town of Narragansett.
yeah,
But
the
for
bus-
tonight, I mean, we don't have to grovel around making a decision, really.
Yeah, well, I'm on board with the bus, I mean, if people are passing the buses, then there's something that needs to be monitored, but not at the cost of putting cameras at 4 intersections or 4 approaches, on
There
Point
is no,
Judith Road.
there is no cost.
Well,
He just doesn't like the
I mean, I'm
cameras
talking
there.
about the, rights, not the cost of civil liberty, not monetary cost.
The right, but is it the rights to run the red light, or is it the rights?
It's just the rights just to drive down the street and not be monitored by the state or the town or a private company, especially a company out of France. This company's based in France, isn't it?
No,
It's not based in France.
no.
Could we maybe get your presentation either by email or hard copies, that it will give an opportunity for us to take it under advisement?
Yes.
It is, I think your presentation was more than I think we were anticipating. We were thinking, you can tell what we were thinking, right? So I think we want to now see if there's a way we can winnow it down to make it fit what the town needs. So
I would really, just so you know, love to come in and do one on so I could show you the full motion video. I could really explain that it's not Big Brother, because if you don't break the law, nobody will ever know you were going through that approach.
But we don't have to resolve that debate tonight.
you're
I
right,
think,
sir.
right? I think what we want to resolve tonight is
Okay.
get that out there. Again, I think it was more than people were thinking in terms of a solution to the problem.
Thank
so,
you.
Yeah, your
thank
company's represented throughout every state in the union. Basically, you could say that.
No, it's only the states that allow for automated enforcement.
Okay, how many states is that?
13.
13 states. Out of 13 states, how many lawsuits are directly against your company through
Zero.
individuals
Zero.
or
Against my
towns?
company. Against my company, zero.
There's not one lawsuit pending any
Not
type
one
of...
lawsuit anywhere.
Okay, that's a good run. That's a good run. But I don't know.
It's rock solid. The evidence is rock solid. And I'd like to show
do we
you
want?
one-on-one.
Okay, thank you, sir. People want to weigh it. We're just going to take it under advisement. You want to weigh on it now? Okay, Pat, come on up. If you can be brief, though, because I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, I'll be brief, but I thought this was a 5-minute presentation, the way it was presented. It should have been an agenda item. It's 45 minutes.
No, but again, as we anticipated, it was more than, as I said, right? More than we
If I may
anticipated.
make a simple suggestion, I saw in one of these videos, an assistant to the bus driver get off the bus with the children. She could have a stop sign on her hand, and she could clear the traffic and make sure that people stop. But more importantly, and very simple thing, you could put on the center line where the bus stops on Point Judith Road, a sign, you must stop for the bus stop on the other side. Something very simple. There may be, I don't know how many bus stops there are on Point Judith Road, maybe 10, 12, I don't know. It's worth 10 or 12 signs in the middle of the road to make sure that people stop. I mean, we don't have to, I mean, this is becoming a police state in Narragansett? Really, I mean, 45 minutes for this man to present this plan? I'm sorry, it's really.
Well, Pat, we didn't anticipate. We really thought we were getting a presentation on it. So you got to work with us a little bit. Yeah.
Somebody
Thank
should
you.
have,
Right. Well, we don't know. I mean, I don't know photo enforcement, so we brought it
somebody
forward.
should
So.
have known before this was presented. I'm
All
sorry.
right. Thank you, Pat. Richard.
Before I make the comments, I do agree with Pat. There are a lot of things wrong doing it this way. This was really a workshop, and you have not given competitors a chance. This is not good government. But that's, we have a long, long history of overspending and overcommitting to spend. Hence, we have a $40 million shortfall in pension funding, $60 million in OPEB. We have not had a meaningful discussion with our retirees on OPEB or pensions. We refuse to privatize school bus drivers and municipal water employees. I read about a $500,000 shortfall in the schools, a $1.2 million shortfall in the athletic complex, including a total waste of expenditures on a walking trail. Absolutely nothing to do with the school. The school committee overspent for engineering $60,000. Brutal over expenditures. It claims to have squirreled away at least $1 million of our tax dollars and claims it's theirs, not ours. The words yes and no have equivalents in the colloquial language of yeah, and nah. I think you've all heard this. For many decades, yeah has been the word in Narragansett. Yeah, let's spend. Yeah, let's overcommit. So much so we should name this town Narragansett. N-A is the first two letters of our name. It is time to change from Narragansett to Narragansett.
All right, thank you. We're going to take the presentation, look it over, and we'll thank you for that presentation, sir, and we will move forward to our motion on public hearing decision for 8 o'clock. A motion to continue a public hearing on the proposed Scarborough Wastewater Treatment Facility floodproofing project, and a motion to receive and place on file the recommendation from the planning board on this proposal.
I'll move that motion.
Discussion? What date are we looking at there? Is that March 16th, 8 o'clock? Okay, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved, 5-0. Now we have our open forum section of the meeting. This is our time when people can make comments from the public. Ask that you keep your comments brief and to the specific point you're making. So if there's anyone who would like to speak, please come forward. Stanley.
Yeah, it's Matt's, but
Professor stole my idea. And we never even talked together about it. But my issue is spending. Spending. Are we watching our spending? You know, I want to thank Councilman Murray because he has been at some finance committee meetings, and that's where they kind of analyze the spending and alert us to the problems we have. And you know, I kind of read, I think we're only about 1%, or we're just a half step over critical phase financially. We took that little step over just so we're not labeled critical, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a problem. With the pensions and all, we have a problem. We're really busted. We're broke. You are poor. You don't understand what poor is. When you're poor, you choose not to make any discretionary ideas here. You just basics, back to basics. And I don't think you understand that. First, I guess in the past, they went and they started taxing businesses. Well, we're going to tax businesses more to get more money, a way to get more money. Okay? Now, of course, we're going to try and tax the businesses go on, or now we want to try to bring businesses back, but you tax them to death. And now you want to try to tax rentals. Well, let's get on some rentals now. The rentals are rich. We want more money. Not about the spending. We just want more money. So let's get those rich rental people. You know, and you don't understand that you're taxing the poorest, some of the poorest people in town are the rental people. These are some of the poorest people, and yet you're going to increase taxes on rentals. Oh, that's being proposed ad hoc. We're looking at it as an idea. Then you look at a homestead. People are so worried about taxes, they're going after this Homestead Act. How can I get out from underneath this tax burden? Well, let's get a Homestead Act so I'm saved. So now you're causing this town to not to be friendly towards each other, that's for sure, as we fight over who has a homestead exemption. I get a lower tax. A $500,000 house will get a less tax. Well, then that rental, some of the poorest people in town will end up paying more. And you'll have that family who's trying to save to buy a home. They're in a rental, but they got to pay more money because the rentals are going to be taxed more and feed more. Your engineering, social engineering by taxation just doesn't get it. You've got to start focusing on your spending side. You know, I read in the paper, we're going to buy a post office. I don't want to. You're going to buy a post office now. Come on. We don't have any money for that, please. You know, then we already bought this $3 million turf thing, which is going to be a $4 million thing. You know, can we afford that? Now I hear something about an $8 million library. Well, that's only going to cost us $4 maybe. I know. Millions of dollars presented to you. We've got to alert to all the people in Narragansett, we don't have the money to entertain the spending side. We're on the saving side. We're going to reduce spending, not increase taxes. There is one town, I thought it was Smithfield, that didn't have an increase in tax last year. You know, I just think that we've got to.
Stan, thank you. You're at your time limit.
Okay.
Thank you.
One more thing.
One more thing.
Incidents and nuisance housing. You know, we're so anti-rental. We've had in the last 3 weeks, we had 3 incidents. 3 incidents. This party problem you talk about, so we have to hire a police officer with a $3 million benefit maybe. big bucks going for 3 incidents in the last 3 weeks. Again, where's our priority? And certainly not watching the dollar enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public comment? All right, if there's not, what we're going to do is move on to our consent agenda. I ask if any council member has something they want to remove from the consent agenda to indicate that now. All right, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved, 5-0. Old business, item number 8, a motion to waive the current policy and authorize the use of the miscellaneous construction services contract with George Sherman Sand and Gravel Incorporated to complete the installation of a new storm drain system on Robinson Street in an amount not to exceed $56,485.
Move that motion.
Second.
Mike, can you do a presentation on this for us, please?
No.
Good evening. Robinson Street slated to be reconstructed this spring, as soon as the ground finally thaws out. But Robinson Street's going to be reconstructed. We're going to be putting new sidewalks. This past season, United Water just did a new water line infrastructure through Robinson Street. So what we're looking to do is, Robinson currently has no drainage features on the road. We'd like to upgrade, add new drainage features. We also have some dwellings that have sump pumps that pump out onto the road now. We're going to put connections with this drainage system to those properties to collect that sump pumps. And that's it, essentially. There'll be new curb and sidewalk on one side of the road and newly paved, constructed road.
And that's not part of the $17 million?
This is part of
Or
the
part of
RIP
it?
project, yes.
So that 56,000 has been slated from the 17 million?
Yes.
I
Yep.
understand.
All right, thank you. Any comments on this? I'm going to be using this microphone because I think people could hear the feedback in the other one. So, any further discussion from the council? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved, 5-0. Item number 9, a motion to appoint the judge of the probate court.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate James Sheridan as the probate judge.
Second.
Discussion.
I guess I have an issue with all of the nominations in that, as a new council member, to simply be here for a meeting, which it was when this came up, to simply be here for a meeting and then be asked to take a look at each of these positions. You have no history with these people. I mean, sure, you have a history from paying attention and wanting to run in the town of Narragansett, but you don't have any working history with the people. So I mean, there's two ways of doing it. You either appoint for 3 years, or you appoint for a year and then appoint for 2 years. But I would say it would be very nice for me as a new member to have been on for a year and then be asked to appoint, so that I have some history with the person, with the people. You follow me?
I do, but also I think when you're also following before the election, there's also a duty to know what's going on. So I think it's kind of, and there haven't been performance reviews done
Yeah.
for these positions in quite some time. So
Well, the other
it's not going
part
to
of
be
it-
perfect when
Sure.
you make when you start to have some accountability go into the
Understand.
process.
But Matt, the other thing is, these people serve at the pleasure of the council.
Right.
So if you have an issue at the beginning coming in, you can take that issue up. It was just a note. I just wanted to bring it out.
Yeah, but at any time, so they're appointed at any time, they could be, right.
That's it. I'm fine with it.
Okay, this is the motion number 9. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved, 5-0. Item number 10, a motion to appoint the judge of the municipal court.
I'd like to nominate Judge John Jacobus for the municipal court.
Second.
Discussion. Right, as people know, we conducted performance reviews for these positions, and so we did talk with the judge of the municipal court. And we did make a commitment that after the season, right, we would actually, to your point, that we would, after the rental season, we would talk with him again after Memorial Day. So that's something that we'll be making an item on to do, to see what's going on in reaction to the ordinance changes and the enforcement of the $500 maximum on the party problems across the town. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved, 5-0. Item 11, a motion to appoint the magistrate clerk municipal court.
I'd like to nominate Ann Irons for the magistrate.
Second.
All right, and discussion. All right, and this is the appointment for Ann just in a very limited capacity as the magistrate clerk for municipal court, not as the town clerk, which is where she's appointed in that capacity by Pam, or the town manager. Okay, so as a department head. So it's a small part of her work. Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved, 5-0. Item 12, a motion to appoint the town solicitor.
Yeah, I'd like to move that we appoint Dawson Hodges to that position at this time.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Discussion. All right, so basically on this, Dawson Hodgson is a former state senator who represented the southern part of Narragansett. People may have been familiar with him in those campaigns. He served for 2 terms representing the town and others. He also has significant AG experience with the Attorney General's office, handling prosecutions. He's worked several years in that capacity. He was also a law clerk immediately after graduating from law school at the Washington County Superior Court. He's going to be able to focus primarily on the town as a client, because people probably recall that he ran for Attorney General, and in that capacity had to offload a lot of his clients. So he has not a very large client base, so his primary focus can be on the town of Narragansett. So, and he has made that offer to us. Council's met with him. We actually met with him last Tuesday night, and he had prior sent us a letter of interest earlier in February for the position. So strong qualifications, and a person that can, hopefully we can increase accountability in the position and have somebody who can have this as a primary focus of the town, primary focus being the town as the client. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a couple of comments. Yeah, we met with Dawson. Seems like a great guy. Prosecutor. He's never been a solicitor, so I was a little concerned about that. But more importantly, he was the only person we spoke to, and it is at the pleasure of the council. But for me, I've always been about process and openness, and I would have liked to have the opportunity to talk to a few other people, because I know that there are qualified, excellent people that could be interested in the solicitor's position. So although he seems like a nice guy, he seems like he would certainly have a learning curve. I'm upset that we just didn't have more people come to the table and know about the process. So we have talked about, transparency, and I know the community didn't know that this would be viably an open position, but it could have been. And so I'm a little disappointed about that. So, a great guy, but I'm not going to support it.
Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you ask 2 attorneys
I did.
that this position was available?
We were all given the authority to go out and seek out,
Certainly.
right? But nobody would come to the table because I think they assumed that there was a strong consensus that Dawson was the guy.
Or maybe they...
And I have to say, I thought that was the way it was too, so I couldn't get anybody to come.
Or maybe they thought that there wasn't the political, wind that'd make a change at this time.
I just would have liked to have more people come, that's all. I really would have. I thought it would have been nice. I know that it's been closed for 26 years, and I think that there's incredibly talented people, and I would have just liked to talk to a couple of people, that's all. And I couldn't get them to the table.
Right, okay, thank you.
Stanley.
Again, speaking from finance side, we have a we have an encyclopedia of history here, encyclopedia of history. I've never sensed any bias on his part, and to sacrifice this encyclopedia, any new person coming on is going to have to maybe spend double the time to research some of the items that we might be concerned with. And it's going to cost us money. So based on money, that's not even considering the character of the person that we have here over these years. I just don't, I don't see why we're letting all this history and knowledge essentially go to waste, you know. And I understand. I was an advocate of term limits, you know. Everybody ought to be thrown out after so many years, you know, and it's a good idea, you know, get some freshness in there. But however, this town has a habit of throwing people out, you know, you know. And I think one stability factor has been Mr. McSally here, and that stability from council to council, as you guys might get thrown out, come in this time. This is kind of a stability point of view. He gives us some stability, some history, and I've never sensed that it was biased. So unless there was a misconduct, I don't see why we should change at this time, especially not if we go to a new fella now. No solicitor experience. I don't know. I feel uncomfortable with it, cost-wise and character-wise. At this point, I don't know the other fellow, and I'd like to stay with. I guess old people just don't want to change. Want to stay with something we know is true, tried and tested. Thank you.
Thank you, Stan. Anyone else? Win.
Here it comes. Wish us luck.
I get a little bit concerned about hiring a solicitor who doesn't live in town. I can't remember the last time we had a solicitor who wasn't part of the community, and that bothers me. It also bothers me to hire somebody who has no solicitor experience whatsoever. I know if you put your minds to it, you could find people, if you're that upset with Mark and his crew, and you could go find somebody else who lives in town, who has the experience as a solicitor. I think this is a great disservice to Mark. 28 years should mean something. He's an integral part of the community, and I think it's just wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, Win. Dawson lives in North Kingstown. He did represent the town in the state senate, and he's had experience there with a lot of municipal issues, attended town council meetings across 4 towns. So there is an experience level there, and he does understand South County, although he does live in North Kingstown. Thank you, Win.
So, may I?
Go ahead.
Okay. It's obvious that the political will is there to make a change. We're going to make the best of the change, certainly. I didn't have the opportunity to work with Mark except for on the school committee years ago, and I never had an issue. So thank you very much for your service, Mark. I think that the doors will always be open, and I hope that you consider coming back if the political will changes in the other direction. As far as Dawson's concerned, I took the time to meet with him separately from the council, and he's an absolute gentleman. He's bright, articulate, and I think that he'll do a fine job. But personally, I would rather have, I guess I'm getting old. I like the not changing the part, and I appreciate the history that you bring along with your, as we said, 6th seat on the council. Thanks. Appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. I want to thank Mark also for his service to the town. And
Right.
And Mark, we've worked throughout the process. The process has, we've taken some time, and people may recall that back in November, we wanted to put those reviews on, and we actually didn't have the motion go on until January 5th. So So it's been some time, and the council really spent some time talking and thinking about this position. And during that time frame, different attorneys did reach out to the council members, and some send letters right away in November, so we get letters right at that time. And so we did have a process where we went through that and really didn't want to move forward until the council as a whole really had spoken with him and treated Mark with respect so that we could then move forward with a different decision. Is there any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Motion approved 4-1. Thank you. What we will be doing is setting up a transition plan in terms of how we will be changing this role, and I know it's a big change for the town. I'll be working with Mark on that and have already talked with him several times about how that will play out. So we will be working in that, and I thank Mark for being cooperative in that process. So thank you again. We'll move on to our new business. Item number 13, a motion to allow the hiring for the replacement of 2 vacancies in the police department created by a retirement and a resignation in the Narragansett Police Department.
I'll move that motion.
Second.
Discussion. Dean?
I'm good with it.
As I outlined, this is to replace Sergeant Kim Hill, who just retired after 20 years of service with us, and also to replace one of the 5 that we hired last year who resigned from the department. Decided that it would be better to try a different walk of life. We have one that you approved prior for the replacement of Sergeant Eric Ryan. Basically, the 3 that we're now void are our 1900 to 0300 shift, our night swing shift, which we had this past year and operated with so effectively. We will go into this summer, again, 3 people short, and it's seemed like we've been short for pretty much every year with retirements. So we'll try, with your blessing, if these 2 are approved. We are in the process right now of doing background checks and get them their psych test, academy entry, and start the academy in July.
Dean, you just said that you're going to go into the season 3 officers short?
Summer.
Oh, into the summer season?
Into the
That's
summer
how long it
season.
takes for the training and so forth? Is that
No,
why?
that's just to get them in the academy. We won't have functional on-the-street police officers from the July academy until December, and then there'll be the FTO process, so realistically, it's this time next year that those 3 will be able to be on their own.
Oh. Oh. Wow.
Once they come out of the academy in December,
Okay.
they're paired up with officers, so they are double cars. They are an asset. They're a great aid to us.
Oh, okay, I see. I
but-
didn't realize that it took that long.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
long process between the start of our hiring, advertising, and hiring process through the academy. It's almost a year
Wow.
to get a body on the street.
Okay. I noticed that, you know, there are less issues with the students, and that's a great thing. But last council tied an officer to the fee, and I was wondering what your thoughts are on that. I mean, is that officer
He's on the road, he's working. We actually
reason?
acquired him from the University of Rhode Island. He had graduated with the 5 that we put through. He's on the road. That brought us up to 40.
Yeah.
We're still not up to the 41 that we were authorized 5 years ago.
Okay.
But it has every body, you know, I've said it before, it comes down to bodies. And that's what it takes to be able to have the level of enforcement that we were able to put out this past year.
So that person didn't take a year to go, or 6 months, whatever it is? to
No,
go
we
through the
literally
process?
hired him.
You just got the right person?
Yeah, he came from another department, so we didn't have to go to the academy. He went through a modified field training process, 6 weeks instead of 12, and literally fit right in, and we were able to move along with him.
So you feel that that position is effective, and that's the reason for what's happening? Or,
Yeah, every body that we have is an aid to be able to do better enforcement.
Can I say something?
Okay, I don't have an issue with that.
These aren't new
Pam?
positions.
No,
These-
I understand that. I just didn't understand the process, Pam.
Yeah, we're
But
at 40.
I appreciate it.
We're at 40, right? 40 police officers.
Well,
If we're able to hire these two, we'd be
Right,
at 40,
correct.
yes. No
Right.
additional.
Right.
No.
Right, so we're not at the 41, we're at
Nope.
40. I guess,
And I'm not asking.
no. My big...
Very smart.
When I watched that happen, my biggest issue was tying it to a fee, you know what I
Right.
mean? That
That's
bothered
right.
me, and it still does, and it'd be nice to not have that part of it. But thank you very much for the explanation, it was great. I'm all set.
Richard.
Dying for a cookie here.
I'd like to thank the council for analyzing each employee as we go through this, because we are not only looking at an employee today, we're looking at an employee 20 years from now, and then 60 years from now. And every employee we add an unbelievable amount of money in pensions and in other post-employment benefits under our current way of operation. Until we change our current way of operation of unbelievably generous pensions and out of this world other post-employment benefits, we are on the path to destruction. So every employee hired has to be looked at with a 60-year horizon, or we are dead.
Thank you. Stan.
Professor beat me up again. You know, there's probably, I think some of this is, like I say, the student-driven, and as we've seen, that's been satisfied by other means. And it just seems that, can we use contract labor? When I say contract, I mean, can we use temporary labor? Can we, are those specific times, maybe at Christmas, maybe at those specific weekends and times where we need the full staff of police, can we not satisfy our needs by having others come in to help us for those specific weekends? We probably only have maybe 15 weekends or 15 incidents, 15 difficult times we got to deal with maybe. I don't know how many. I don't know if we analyzed it. But now we've got police officers all over the place, and there's nothing happening. It's kind of dead out there. As I said with my student thing, it's kind of dead out there. So the majority of the time, it's kind of dead out there. So we only need police for those active times. So if we can just, again, hiring freeze. I heard about a hiring freeze, and all of a sudden we're away, you know?
Right.
And I'm not saying, you know, we've got to start thinking that in our mind. Our population, I think, is decreasing in Narragansett. The last time I read somewhere, unless you heard different. So we have, pretty soon we're going to have less people in Narragansett. Therefore, we're not going to need the coverage. And especially now, if you get rid of the rentals, you're trying to get rid of the rentals, well, by all means, you're going to have a real quiet town. And can maybe get rid of 10 police officers. It'll be so easy. So maybe we got to take the step now. So all I'm saying is the temporary help. Can we get the temporary help when needed, as needed, rather than go into the full-time situation here and have excess staff most of the year? And therefore, I wish you would look this over. Let's postpone this and look this a little more in detail.
Thank you, Stan. Carol.
And we all know the town has some dire financial situations going on. It's not that people are not unaware of it, and people have been aware of it for probably 5 or 10 years, ever since Maureen Lugens left. So that's nothing new. There are places where the town most likely can look to keep the budgets under control, keep hiring under control. However, the police department has more things to do, and why in God's name I have to be up here trying to reveal or illuminate this issue. They're not just giving out traffic tickets or just checking on people parking overnight where they shouldn't, or trying to deal with incidences and complaints of parties. Excuse me, but I believe our country and our towns and our cities are in dire straits when it comes to security and people who have to be looked at and monitored, and I'm sure that our police are involved in some of those issues in trying to keep us safe, and as part of their responsibilities as a local, as well as part of a state, as well as part of a country that is possibly in dire circumstances because of people who want to do harm to us. So that would be the last place that I would complain about a full police force that's required because of the numerous issues they deal with and put themselves in harm's way many times on a 24/7 basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. All right, any further discussion?
Just to Carol's point, I think maybe, I think sometimes we keep too much of a poker face up here in the council. I don't think you're going to find any council member up here looking to cut police forces in town anytime. I mean, we are where we are. Now, if you want to talk about additional police, then you have a debate. But as far as cutting this is just replacements of existing jobs. As far as cutting police force, we're not going there, I don't think.
And this motion, we have made, this is a motion where we look at what's going on each of these hires, and then we move forward. We get the recommendation from Pam or the department head. So I think working so far. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion approved, 5-0. Motion number 14, a motion to reject all bids received for industrial electrical services. The strangeness that, go ahead.
I'll move the motion.
Second.
Just they usually don't have that kind of bid situation, Pam, so do you want to explain?
When this bid originally went out, it went out for two separate services. When part of the bid was opened, it was determined that the winner of the award could do both services, so there's no need for two separate contracts. Jeff, did I report that correctly? Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, he says I did. That is, in a nutshell, what this is about. It's doing one company instead of two, and it's still getting the low price that was bid out.
All right, thank you. Any comments?
Nice job.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? A motion approved, 5-0. Item 15, a motion to award the bid for generator service contract to the lowest bidder, the Lightship Group, in the amount of $7,000 for 2015-16 and $7,000 for 2016-17, and at their hourly rates as quoted for services not covered by this preventative maintenance contract.
I'll move the motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved, 5-0. Item number 16, a motion to approve a contract with Prism Energy, an authorized agent for National Grid, for outside lighting improvements and upgrades at the Scarborough wastewater treatment facilities in the net amount after incentives of $11,983.
I'll move the motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved, 5-0. Item number 17, a motion to appoint an individual to the Tax Assessment Board of Review for a 3-year term which will expire on February 17th, 2018.
I'd like to nominate David Archambault.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved, 5-0. Item number 18, a motion to approve the meeting schedule for the budget process for fiscal year 2015-16.
I'll move that motion.
Second.
Do you want to give us just the highlights of that, Pam, actually, you know what? Pam, if you want to give highlights of that for the public, please.
Absolutely.
Pam, before you do that, is it going to be, once we approve it, you'll post it somewhere so the public can see it as well?
This is already online, I believe. Is it not, Laura?
Not
Not until it's approved. This is basically the same hearings and meetings that we've had every year, put with today, with this year's dates on it. And it includes meetings with department heads and reviews of their budgets. Laura and I have already had our zero-based budgeting sessions with our department heads in each department. We sat with the finance committee on Friday. We've sat with the school department even tonight. So this is just the list of all the meetings that you have to go through to meet state mandates and also to get knowledgeable so that we're ready to pass it in June. In a nutshell, is there anything, Laura, that I should add to that? Same as last year, she says. Same exact meetings, just different dates.
Great. Okay, just in terms of highlights, just for the public, I was just going to highlight the April 13th and May 4th are the two public hearings on the budget, and the the council work sessions with department heads are the April 21, 22, 23. Typically, those work sessions are during that third week in April. So just so people at home know, those are our dates, the key dates in the budget process. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved 5-0.
Now you can post it.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll
You hold
move
one
that
sec
motion.
before you make a motion to adjourn. As far as the reports from the town council, I didn't ask to put it on there, but it's okay if I just kind of give a brief summary of the athletic facilities that Sue and I attended.
I think
Or
let's
to
put
be-
it on an agenda under the
Should we
Open
put it on
Meetings
for the
Act.
next
So
meeting?
put it on, do a blue sheet for the next meeting, because you
I
don't want to get
appreciate
in the
it.
habit
Yeah.
of
No,
putting.
I don't want to
yeah,
get
yeah.
any
wanna get
bad
too far
habits,
ahead
but I
until
just
we're-
want to
Yeah.
make sure that we did, pardon me?
Yeah, so that usually is just
Right.
under the Open Meetings, because
Yeah.
our agenda is what it is, and we don't
Okay.
want to have a wide-ranging discussion
So
on
Ann, would you
something.
put that on for the next meeting, please?
Yep.
And would you invite the co-chairs to come and speak to us on that meeting, too?
Thank you.
I appreciate
All
it,
right.
thank you.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved, 5.